For the past 5 months, we have been tracking the push to get the Confederate monument removed from outside the Madison County Courthouse. Our team was there in the very early hours of the morning today when the statue was moved. Now, our Sydney Stallworth met with some of the people who have been working to make this change happen.
After over a century, 115 years to be exact, the Confederate monument that once stood right here is no longer in front of the Madison County Courthouse. For the groups that spent months and much longer asking local leaders to take this step, today is a victory.
I think it's a good day for Huntsville.
I actually got teary-eyed for several reasons. Just to know that the citizens' voices have been heard and that there was a response.
Our crew was out early Friday morning just after midnight when the crane and workers arrived to take down the statue. This story has been in headlines for the past few months, but the work by local activist groups to move the monument extends far before.
It's been 5 years that I myself have been involved, and longer for other local activists.
One author and local historian says the monument needed to go.
People, especially African Americans, have been denied justice on this very ground, including 2 lynchings that occurred here. So it was completely inappropriate for any House of Justice.
We spoke to U.S. Representative Laura Hall about the relocation.
Today I just said, thank you, Lord, it's gone. Amazing. So now we can work on those other barriers.
Barriers like
ethical policing, health care of our children, education, those types of things.
For Huntsville City, County, and actually State of Alabama leaders to apologize for attacking citizens that were peacefully protesting in Huntsville on June 1st and 3rd.
They say voting is essential, especially now.
The elected officials had something to do with the removal of this monument, so this is a real live example of why you need to cast your vote and make your voice heard and elect people who think along the lines that you do about issues that affect your day-to-day life.
You can find the monument here in Maple Hill Cemetery just off of Wells Avenue. Putting the Valley first, I'm Sydney Stallworth, WZDX News.